Jason Pendley.
Take your pick. Whatever we're feeling today, we got it. From tacos.
Which one's he going to use?
That's right. That's right. We just we spun the knife, and whichever one it pointed at, that's what went on it today.
What's on the rib? Inquiring minds want to know.
People on the product. And I think for us, we've had some really good retailers. We were just talking about one today that came on with us, Owl's Nest Barbecue. He's awesome. But he sold a lot of product, but he's passionate about it. Yep. He talks about it. He educates his people, his staff, everybody on it.
Hey, welcome everybody. Monday night, catch-up night here at Owl's Nest Barbecue Spot, our White Oak Mountain headquarters. Headquarters. Recovered. Have you recovered?
I'll tell you what, I have, but I'll tell you, it took me all day yesterday to recover.
What a day. If you missed it, man, you missed it. You missed a good one, though. We had just, well, here, just check this out. That's just the cooks and a few of the support staff right there. Most of them, the different teams, the 14 different teams that we had.
Yep.
And look at all those people. And that's not everybody that helped.
Well, Charles took that picture. He's not in there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was more. And what a great day that was, Steve. What a great day.
I tell you, that was. I expected it to be good, Pete, but I didn't think it was going to be that good. I really did. It was fantastic.
I'll tell you, that's the most now. Here, that's the most.
Oh yeah.
Of the group of the best barbecuers in one place I've seen in a long time.
Oh,
I mean, local, right here, local, man. That's a lot of everybody there, buddy. Is a good was a good pitmaster right there.
And there's Charles, Betsy, and Sean. Charles was our scorekeeper, and Betsy was reading off the scores to him. And that's Sean, of course. Sean is our man about town, and our boy Friday. He gets it done for us. He gets everything put up and kind of takes care of everybody and their needs. And they did a great job. Charles Pettit, congratulations to you. Just fantastic job doing the scores. We've got the champion in the wings here. Jeffrey Maxwell. Let's see what Jeff has to say. Congratulations to all. Had a blast Saturday. Thanks, Steve, for the day. Well, thank you, Jeff, for participating. Jeff always supports things that we do, and we appreciate that very much. All these guys do. All these guys. Only had one no-show. That's pretty good.
Yeah. One
no-show. And I understand he had a sick child. And that happened.
Absolutely understandable.
You know, Pete, I tell you, it was. I'm going to tell you, right? It was in my own house. We were having, we were sick.
Yeah.
And I was sick, and Emma was sick, and Barbara, my wife, got real sick.
My wife was sick the same week.
And Monday, I tell you, last Monday, I came that close to calling it off. I didn't think Barbara was going to be well enough for me to leave her. But she had an overnight recovery, and boom, everything went great.
Yeah, and kudos to the lady that you have, Teresa, that does all the wonderful things for you, Steve, and for Barbara.
Absolutely.
She's such a blessing.
Steve Davidson, hello, Steve and Pete, Billy Holland. Good evening, everybody. I'm glad you're joining us, Billy and Steve and Jeff. Appreciate it very much, and I appreciate you guys participating Saturday as well. Didn't get a shot of the parking lot. Was it pretty awesome again?
I don't know, Steve. I was
I
inside
know.
so much
Oh, that's
and running
right.
around. I didn't.
And how could we not mention Perry Collins helping back there in the judges headquarters in the back, helping you keep everything straight. You don't realize what has to go on in a judging area, even with just 5 judges, when you've got 14 different um, participants, and you want to keep everything straight. It's a workload back there.
And just getting ready, even the couple of days, the few days up to a week before, all the things that you and I do to get ready for them, and the things that you send out and have done and brought back, trophy, doing all the things that you do to get prepared. That's all being done as well prior to it, Steve. So kudos to you. I mean, you do a lot of hard work for that.
Well, it's a lot. I enjoy it. I enjoy every minute of it, and the day of is just kind of the culmination of a whole lot of fun. And we're going to do some more. Hello, Heath Jordan, Mr. Fourth Place Heath Jordan came down and cooked cooked that big old that spaceship barrel, I call it, a big old barrel. And before Jason, we're going to come to you in just a second. What I could not believe were the number of pit barrel cookers that were represented at this contest, Pete. Those things, everybody knows that they're rib cookers, and I just couldn't. And barrels in general, not just pit barrels, just barrels. I tell you, it's a barrel takeover. Barrels are taking over the backyard cooking scheme, and I'm glad to see it.
It's a great product. It comes off of it. I mean, and you're right, Steve. But again, I attribute that to also, I think charcoal was making a huge comeback.
It is.
We talked about it before, but I'm telling you, it's making a comeback.
It is making a comeback. Hey, real quick before we go to Jason, there's Jason Pendley, of course, holding the big check and the first place trophy right there on your left. David Roberts finished second, won $400. Jason Clark finished third. He won $300. There's Heath Jordan, finished fourth. He won $200. And Brandon Ellis, one of the better known pitmasters in Chattanooga, finished fifth and won $150. So congratulations to all of those guys, Pete.
Oh yeah,
they did great, and congratulations to everybody that came and cooked. It was there was only like 10 points between first and the bottom.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty tight crowd.
There were no bad ribs there, Steve. No bad ribs at all.
No, it was great. Hey, let's bring him on. There he is right there.
There he is.
Jason Pendley, our 2025 rib champion from Rock Spring, Georgia. Hello, Jason.
Good evening, gentlemen.
How's it going, Jason?
Going great.
Hey, man, look right here. I got to show
I see
it.
that. I see you. I see you sporting it. Representing.
Exactly. I told you, man.
Well, show them what shirt you have on, Jason. There you go. The Owl's Nest.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're sporting it all the way around.
That boy knows where his bread's buttered. Get $1,000 check, you get the guy to wear your T-shirt, right, Jason?
That's right.
What,
that's right.
Listen,
there we go. We can see it now.
What are you gonna do with all that money? $1,000.
Buddy,
have you ever won $1,000? Have you ever won $1,000?
No.
Legally.
I've won $1,000 worth of merchandise, but I've never won $1,000. I won a hunting package one time that included a rifle and a bunch of camping gear and all that stuff, but never just straight cash. $1,000. No.
Well, that could have only been done by the great sponsors that we had.
Absolutely. Yep. Shout out to all of them.
Yeah, it chipped into cash, and the
judges. Don't throw in the judges too. They did a wonderful job. It's a tough thing to do, man.
It is, and I mean, I know most of the guys that were cooking. I know y'all know all of them, but like we were talking a while ago, I mean, there wasn't a bad rib turned in. I tasted some of the guys after the contest was over. That come here, everybody wants to try everybody's ribs and stuff, and there wasn't a bad rib turned in. They're jam up cooks.
Yep.
Now you are a famous drum builder now. your drums are spotting all around North Georgia, the Chattanooga area. But yet you didn't cook on a drum. You brought your
I did
Kamado
not.
Joe.
Yeah, I cooked on a
Tell us
Kettle
about that.
Joe,
Yeah,
and
tell us about that decision.
well, I am sold out of drums of my own right now. I had some people that made me some offers on some of the drums that I build, and I couldn't turn it down. So I was drumless. Well, I take that back. I have a Gateway back there, but I couldn't show up with a Gateway when I build drums. So I showed up with a Kettle Joe, little kettle cooker, and done my thing.
Obviously, it was the right choice.
That it was. That thing cooks great, man. I mean, it's a straight up charcoal grill, but it's basically a Kamado Joe version of a Weber kettle.
Yeah. Well, everybody. I mean, anything that uses charcoal well, kettles, Kamado Joes. We sold Kamado Joes last fall. That's a great cooker. Anything that transfers charcoal to meat is what that you're comfortable with. Was well represented, I thought, at the contest.
Yeah, well, I was going to originally do a Weber Performer. I had a Weber Performer a couple of years ago and sold it to a buddy of mine, and I'd contacted him. I was like, because I've got Kamado Joes, but I did not want to tote my ceramic Kamado Joe. I didn't want to travel with it and take a chance of cracking my Kamado. So I contacted my buddy with a Performer, and I was like, hey, I need to borrow that grill. He's no problem, but I had thought about the Kettle Joe, and what I like about the Kettle Joe is they've got stone inserts that go in the charcoal basket. So my thinking was this thing will maintain heat much better than a regular kettle. And I'm going to be opening that lid a lot, so I need to maintain that high temp as much as I can. So that was kind of my thinking behind bringing the Kettle Joe.
Heath Jordan came in fourth place. He says, I'm still wondering who the guy was that thought mine was a garbage can.
He told me about that. Yeah. So yeah. Did y'all see his drum? Yeah. So Heath Jordan
looks like a spaceship.
Yeah. He's got the old warehouse style drum that's got the V's around it. I build slick sided drums just like the Gateway style drum, but Heath's drum it's like a UDS, an ugly drum smoker. He's got the kettle lid and stuff on it. And I mean, if you didn't know what it was, I could see that. But he come over there, he's like, man, somebody tried to throw a plastic bag in my drum. They thought it was a trash can. And he just happened to be standing there and caught him in time before, of course, the plastic bag melts inside of his drum.
Yeah, I was going to say a plastic bag wouldn't have been long for this world.
So not with the heat that drum was putting out.
I know, right?
Jason, we talked about the contest kind of, it kind of consumed Pete and I and a lot of other people in the weeks leading up to it. Did you practice solely on that Kamado
yes,
grill,
I did.
Or did you try something else? And
I did not. I did not post my practice cook pictures purposefully. I seen a lot of people posting them, and when I get serious like that, I don't let the cat out of the bag until it's time. So I kind of kept that all to myself. But I did a total of 5 practice cooks, and every one of them was on the Kettle Joe.
What was the hardest thing about cooking? Having a 90-minute time limit.
Well, I mean, the time limit for one thing was the hardest thing. But when I first started practicing, we were still unsure of whether we were going to be able to use lump or briquettes, or what style of charcoal we're using. So to be honest with y'all, like I only did one practice cook on briquettes. After that was finalized, I had been practicing on lump. So, but I had it dialed in. As long as I could get my temp up and beforehand, I felt confident that I was going to be able to maintain that temperature. So, but the time limit definitely was the hardest thing to master.
So what temperature did you aim for?
400. 400. Yep. And I was okay, if it danced up around, 410, 415, and I was okay if it dropped down to 380. I just tried to get that thing dialed in at 400. It was definitely a hot and fast cook.
Did you spritz?
I did not spritz.
But you
I
did
not.
wrap.
I did wrap, and I don't know about the guys under the shed, but the people that were around me, I wrapped early on, earlier than I felt like everybody else around me was, because of course I was in my zone. I was paying attention to what was going around me a little bit, but when it came time, everything was, it got hectic. I mean, you couldn't walk off from your grill at that temperature. So, but I heard somebody say, "Dang, he's already wrapping." So I knew I had to get it in the wrap, as that's the Texas crutch, and it does speed up cooking process. So I knew I had to get it in the wrap. I felt like tenderness was going to play a key role in this contest. I felt like if you could produce a good tasting rib that's halfway tender, you had a good shot at being top 5.
So did you set up your grill in 2-zone?
I did. That grill doesn't have a divider, or I didn't have a divider or anything for that grill. All I did was bank them to one side. Mm-hmm. And I literally cooked with a 1 chimney and maybe 10 briquettes after that. So I did it all on one chimney of briquettes. So
you wrapped at, let's see, we put those ribs on at 10 o'clock. So what
10.
time did you wrap?
I wrapped at 10:30. 30 minutes in, I wrapped.
Yep. 30 minutes.
Well,
smoke.
And I was locked in on my process after the second test cook. I cooked the last 3 times I practiced the exact same way, the exact same flavor profile. I was just dialing in my method. Now I'll be honest with you, I practiced last Tuesday was my last practice cook, and I called Barbecue Mike and I said, "Hey, you want to come down here and try these ribs? I'll let you try my profile that I'm cooking." And I wrapped those too soon. My bark was not set when I wrapped, and it completely washed it off in the wrap. And they still turned out good. He came down and tried them, and he just shook his head, yeah, and he said, "You got a shot." So I was kind of prepared to roll with it, adjust on the fly if need be. And I don't know if it was weather conditions, air conditions, I can't tell you, but 30 minutes in, my bark was set good enough that it was not scratching off. So I was going in the wrap right then.
What did you temp the ribs when you put them in?
I did not temp the ribs. Nope. I used strictly on look and feel. I did use a ThermoPro. I was feeling resistance, the resistance of the meat when I stuck the probe in it, but I was not paying any attention to temp.
So you went from 10:30 to 11:30 in foil?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
11:22 was my time that I come out of the foil and sliced and sauced. 11:22.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. Yep. During that time, Jason, were you moving it on the grill?
Yes.
Flipping it?
I flipped and rotated every 10 minutes, even in the wrap.
Yep. I think that's the secret to a good Greek style rib is you got to keep that thing moving.
Yes, sir.
Even in the foil.
Yes. Well, and because one of the practice cooks I did 2 practice cooks unwrapped, and I had good results even not wrapping. Years ago when people were cooking on the direct charcoal, this Greek style like you're talking about, they probably did not wrap back then. So I did my first 2 cooks unwrapped, and I'll be honest with you, I had decent success non-wrapping. I would have turned those ribs in, and I would have felt halfway confident with those ribs. They didn't have quite the tenderness as the wrap, but yeah, I did wrap, and I kept moving. From the time I put my ribs on at 10 o'clock Saturday morning, I started a stopwatch on my phone, and every 10 minutes I was moving my ribs.
So when you took them out, did you temp probe them then when you took them out?
The final, I did glance at my temp probe, but I still was not going on temp. I knew when I pulled them out of the wrap that I had nailed it.
Well, what was the temp though when you just noticed
Two,
it?
204.
204. So that's what Pete. That's what I was been preaching.
Yep.
I'm preaching 210, but 204 is close enough.
Yeah, I was 2.4.
because
And now they may have
that's
climbed a little bit afterwards. You know, I may have got some temp creep on that, but when I pulled them out of the wrap, they were and there was some guys standing around. I've got a picture of them. Brandon took that picture when I pulled them out of the wrap. I knew I had nailed it because when I pulled them out of the wrap, they literally did that right there. When I kept pulling them up, they just kept bending, and I knew right then that I had a tender rib.
Yeah, you know, Steve, St. Louis style, I would take the 210 a little differently, but I think you're right. A little less than that works better on the baby backs type style.
Well, what I'm saying is, it's the same as when you're smoking a rib.
Yeah.
You're looking for that temperature because you're looking for that excuse me, tenderness.
Yep.
And you can only get that at 204.
Well, and that's why I say I was going more off of that temp probe. I want to feel what that meat's doing to that temp probe when I probe that meat between those bones. I'm looking for a certain tug, a certain tightness on that. You know, you got to go by that feel, and you learn that feel after a little while.
Well, when you get up to the right temperature, you're going to get that feel. You know what you're looking for.
That's
it's just
correct.
like a pork butt or a brisket.
Yes, sir.
Half the time when I'm checking pork butts and briskets, I'm not even looking at the thermometer. I'm just looking for resistance.
Butter smooth.
Yeah, exactly right. So at the award ceremonies, I debated on whether to call everybody's name or just call the top 5, but I said I'm going to call everybody because everybody deserves to be called, and even if they're at the bottom, they still need a little bit of recognition. That was my thought process on this. And then that's when I stopped at 5 and said, if your name wasn't called, you're in the money. Well, how did you feel then?
I was very excited when I knew I was at least in the money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's those butterflies start, and then it's to the thoughts going through your mind. All right, how much in the money am I?
When you're on like me standing on the sideline, I'm listening to all these names being called. So then I recognized who wasn't called, and I was looking throughout y'all. And man, the looks that you all were giving and thinking, and man,
sure.
It's pretty crazy.
Well, if you watch the video, it's kind of like a wall. A group comes unconsciously, they all step back, and then there's a group that steps up.
Yep.
And you're not doing it on purpose.
Yep.
But I'm in this.
Sure.
I'm in this.
Well, and we're
Jason, isn't that the most exciting thing? I know
absolutely.
I new to competition barbecue. Can I say that? Is that
sure.
accurate?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Sure.
I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No, you're fine.
But I've only been in it myself a few times in my life. And that feeling that you get when you're in it is euphoric. I'm not.
It's a drug, buddy. You're chasing that high. That's for sure. Because even leading up to before you start calling the names out, you make an announcement or name calling or awards in 10 minutes, awards in 5 minutes. You're like, man, you're building up to it. You're building up, and it's nerve wracking. That's for sure. You're definitely chasing a high.
I'll tell you, I thought it was pretty cool how Steve started it. And when everybody took their hats off and was looking at the flag, I was facing out toward where Steve was, looking at the flag. And everybody at that car wash had stopped cleaning their cars and had their hands over their heart while all that was going on. I thought that was cool. I should have took a video of it.
Yep.
It was great.
Yep. America and barbecue, buddy. What
what he's talking about, we did if you weren't there, we did the national anthem. That's Whitney Houston's national anthem, my favorite national anthem to this day. And anytime I play a national anthem, Whitney Houston is my go-to girl.
Yeah,
because that is the greatest national anthem, I think, other than Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock. But that's a different Steve Ray. Okay? It's a different Steve Ray. But Whitney's my girl on the national anthem. If my daughter Emma is not around, because Emma nails the national anthem every time. But I just thought let me ask you this: it took a long time to judge. I think it did. Did you and the competitors think that?
I don't think so. I mean, I did not hear any chatter of people, this is taking forever kind of thing. I mean, we were outside. Of course, we were cleaning our areas, we were straightening up and just chatting amongst each other, how you ask everybody, how you feeling? What are you feeling? You feel like you turned in a good rib. So, we were all chatting and carrying on and some of the guys were cooking some finger foods and stuff like that, so I don't think it took, I don't feel like it took that long.
Well, I tell you, I thought it took a long time because they were so thorough, and if you had a chance to be back there, the way Pete and Perry distributed the food, picked up the food,
Yeah.
We were so intent on getting it right,
Methodical, very methodical.
Yeah, Jason, when we picked up the food, we had everybody return their samples
to that box.
into the box.
Yeah, I went back yesterday and watched the live video. There was some of our guys that had cooked that were listening to it on their phones. They were listening to the live feed, trying to hear those comments. They're judging whatever box 5, and they're trying to listen to their own box to just to try to get a feel, an inside scoop on what the judges are feeling on that particular rack of ribs. But Perry made the comment to me after everything was said and done, and that's one thing that he stressed to me. He was like, we made sure that y'all had the placemats. He's like, we took extra care and precaution, making sure each number of rib went on the correct number of space that it went on. And then I did see y'all pass that same number of box back around, and they put the the bone or the half-eaten rib back in the exact same box.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I think y'all did a good job of that for sure.
We had a mechanism in place. Charles wrote the software program. He wrote a program on Excel to do the scoring. And the thing you want to do is you don't want to tie, of course.
Right.
And if we had a tie and we explored all the different ways to break the tie, and we still couldn't break the tie, we had Perry on standby where he was actually going to taste the two tied ribs.
Okay.
That's why we wanted them in the back, and to actually taste them, and he was going to be our
okay. See, we didn't even know all that. So
a rye person. So that's how careful we were about breaking ties, and we didn't have to do that, of course. But we were down to, we had it's like at the end of the football season,
right?
When the AFC South, where the Titans play, when everybody's 4-13, and
Right.
they're trying to break the tie to see who wins the conference. And
hey, we honestly, one of the things, even Perry. So I will tell you, I brought all of the ribs out to Perry. Perry had no clue, and he had nothing, did not know whose rib he was handing out, anything about it. The only person actually that knew what name went with the number was Steve, other than when the ribs were turned into me, I knew which team they were coming from. But that was just me gathering them and taking them in, and I left. I didn't stay in there when they were judging or anything.
Yeah, I was the only person in the whole place that knew whose box number, what they were.
Yeah, and when I went back,
and I had nothing to do with the judging.
Right.
So,
yeah. When I went back yesterday and watched the video, the behind the scenes, the live feed that y'all had going on, or the Chatted Up Sports guys, it was I'm not familiar with all their names. The one guy with Chatted Up Sports, they were setting 3 on that one side. He kind of took the initiative, I guess, of being kind of the table boss, table captain.
Garrett Collett.
Yeah, because there was somebody asked the question on the execution, like what are we basing the execution on? And he explained to them what he felt like the execution should be judged on.
We used the EAT method, the same method that they use in the World Food Championships. And there's a reason I did, and I can't go into that right now. but there's a reason for future contests. That
Gotcha.
might be something. It might be something cool in the future if I can pull it off. But it's a great way to judge food. And we do something different, Jason. I don't know. In a KCBS event, the judges aren't allowed to talk.
Correct.
We encourage a communication between judges to advocate if there's a discussion of, especially if there's a tie. We want everybody to give their input, so everybody has a reason why they think. There's nothing worse than somebody saying, all right, this person is a 10, this person's an 8, and one person puts 10, and then you got 4 8s.
Yeah.
Well, what? All right, what?
Yeah.
Does
How'd
this
you get
person-
there?
Yeah, exactly. How do you get there?
Yeah.
And I don't want to tell you, they did a great job. Those guys from Jim Reynolds, they did a great job. They were serious as heart attacks back there because they knew.
Yeah.
Because even Jim made the comment. He goes, $1,000. He said, this is serious stuff. I said, yeah, it is. It's real serious.
Yeah.
He goes, holy mackerel. And he goes, am I getting paid? For $1,000. He goes, I better be getting paid too. But they all volunteered, and they were great. They were just fantastic.
It was
Jason,
definitely a lot of fun, between competitors because, which I mean, most of us knew each other up there. I think there's just a couple that I wasn't, familiar with, but a large majority of us are, pro staffers up there, and we go back and forth between each other, and we beat up on each other all the time. So it was definitely a fun time to be had, amongst us. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun, and I just can't tell you and Pete. Well, Pete knows how thrilled I was about it because we stayed. We finally, at the end of the day, after we got cleaned up, we finally had a Iron Forge beer, which was great. Those beers are fantastic, and thank you.
Right. I forgot all about the tap takeover at the local goat. I was going to go over there and forgot all about it. All the excitement, and the hubbub going on. I just went home.
What a great time. And Lyric is going. The girl from the Times Free Press is going to do a article about this in the Chatter magazine coming up.
Cool. Yeah, I seen. I think you had shared it earlier on the Chattanoogan.com had a little article about it already.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I saw. Like John, I believe was his name. The guy that was handing out the beer. That was at the cooler. He was the guy that was telling all about the beer and explaining about the beer. He was, he was with the rest of the group that was there, but I think I saw him on the golf course the next day.
Good deal.
He might have stayed over. He lives, over in that way, but I think he stayed the night. And, after being there and he decided to play a game of golf, I'm pretty sure I saw him and a couple other guys that were there on the golf course. So they were enjoying their time here too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there was a couple of competitors, that had a rough start to the day, and they still turned it around and competed like champs, and shout out to both of them. Michael Williams started his morning off in a bad way. He part of his grill flew out of his truck to start off and got T-boned by another vehicle on the way, so he had to turn around and go back home and get another device that he didn't practice on. Of course, he's well familiar with the device that he cooked on, but and then Matt Osmond, coming in from Nashville, he was 20 minutes late to the total competition, and he still, he threw everything out of his truck and set up shop and went to work, and everybody just had a good time, even though, like I said, those guys had rough mornings.
There's always a story lineage that goes through these contests, and it's what makes them interesting.
Right,
Jason, yours is interesting. You're one of the few people that didn't post your practice pictures.
Correct.
And nobody knew what you were cooking on. You were kind of like the mystery guy. We all knew what everybody else was cooking on. Where's Jason? Jason keeps it close to the vest, and that works. He's got a bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's behind him that doesn't contain Sweet Baby Ray's.
It might. It might now. Come on now, Sweet Baby Ray's. Come on now.
You know, the one thing I'll tell you, Steve and I've had this conversation before, and I knew your time was coming. I really did. Steve and I both knew there was going to be your time soon, because
I appreciate that.
whenever you get into something, I don't care what it is, if it's building a smoker, whatever it is that you touch, you really take a lot of pride and put a lot of effort into doing it and getting it to be the best it can be. That's what we both see in you. So we knew it was coming. Didn't know it was this one, but we knew it was coming.
I didn't either. And that's people ask me, you know, like you said, Steve, I am new to the competition, you know, side of things. I mean, I've been cooking for 20 plus years, you know, on smokers. My brother-in-law and myself, we had a pull behind smoker in the early 2000s. So I'm definitely not new to that, but the competition thing has really intrigued me because, in my honest opinion, competition barbecue is not the best barbecue. You do get some good food, but I tell everybody, look, I'm born and raised in the South. I like a fall off the bone rib, you know, if it don't fall off the bone to me, it's not done. And that's just the way I was raised in the meat that I grew up on. But if you cook a fall off the bone rib in a KCBS event, or even, I mean, if it was falling off the bone the other day, you would not have scored well. You know, those guys were looking, that's what the fella from Chatted Up Sports, that's what he said. He said, you know, if it's got that pull, if it's not pulling clean from the bone, it's not done. If it's falling off the bone, it's overdone. So that's what has intrigued me about this whole competition thing. Is it's not the best barbecue. You have to cook the best mediocre barbecue without being offensive, but it's the technique. You're looking for that bite. You're looking for that the texture, the color, the presentation. The whole science behind it has really caught my eye, and that's what I like about it. And that kind of stuff, I like a challenge. And I tell everybody, tenderness
in your food is the number one priority. Darren Worth, one of the best who have ever done competition barbecue, said, "If I hit tenderness, I'll beat you with a bottle of ketchup and mustard."
Yeah, it may not taste the best, but like you said, that tenderness.
Yeah, the tenderness is,
and that's so somewhat important. What I kind of felt like was what needed to happen Saturday. You know, I don't know. I didn't taste everybody's ribs, so I don't know if I had the best flavor of ribs out there. But I felt like if you could turn in, especially in 90 minutes, if you can produce a good edible, good bite piece of meat with some decent flavor in 90 minutes, you had a good chance.
Yeah. Well, you obviously figured it out.
Thank you.
And you figured it out this time.
That's right. And it's, you know, I told a couple of guys we could have that competition again next Saturday, and they might beat the brakes off of me next weekend. You know, I had the number Saturday.
Now, I always say, you know, cooking backyard barbecue is great. For myself, a backyard cook now. I just love to cook food. Don't do it competitively, but if you're really serious about it, until you put that food in a box and hand it to 5 or 6 people that don't know you,
correct,
that aren't your mama, that's not your daddy,
correct,
that's not your aunt or your uncle,
next door neighbor,
your neighbor eating free barbecue,
your church connect group,
exactly right. You know, until that stranger, until Jim Reynolds takes a bone out of a box and says, "That's the winner."
That's right.
You know, then you know your barbecue's good.
I tell everybody, you know, nobody's going to give you a bad review on free food. You know, if you're handing out free ribs and free, you know, chicken wings or whatever, my experience, ain't nobody going to stand there and tell you it's bad. You're handing them free food.
That's right.
Not like if you're paying money for
okay,
it, you get it and it's bad.
But you know what? That's okay.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sure.
That's okay. But that's how you know, you're feeling it, Jason. You're feeling that.
Yes.
That, you know, you've got a competitive nature, and you're feeling it. It's fun. Even as many times as I competed in terms of food that didn't score well, you know, I couldn't wait to do it again.
Sure. Well, you know, I got beat up the last weekend on chicken.
It looked really good. I will tell you that chicken looked good.
Well,
Doesn't
but like
matter how
Steve's
good.
saying, if you want to find out how good your food is, turn it into people that you don't know that's certified and fixing to judge it. I felt like we turned in a good product, but I got 24th out of 47, which ain't bad, but still 24th. I took a beating.
Yeah, when
So-
you turned it in, you thought this is the winner.
We're gonna get a walk today, boys.
We're gonna walk. Yeah,
we walked
It'll
all right.
humble you. It'll humble you. It'll make you angry. I've always said I hate losing more than I like winning, and it's not a good trait. And sometimes you got to work on stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's I joke around about it. I tell everybody I'm shooting for last, and anything above that's just a bonus. So I cook to have fun, and that's what I've told Steve Davidson, Randy, Michael. I've told them all. Look, I'll be glad to team up with you and cook with you all day long. But if we don't have fun, if we can't have fun, I'm out.
Yeah.
We got
being miserable doing something.
right.
Not gonna happen.
Right. Yeah, this crap ain't cheap.
The miserableness only lasts about 20 minutes after it's
That's right.
over.
Yep,
And
that's
then,
right.
then you start thinking, the first thing you think of, they don't know what they're doing. Then you think of, then you say, I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
And I got to
Yep.
go back to the drawing board.
Yeah,
Reality hits you right here real quick in barbecue.
Yep. And I try to look at that, I placed 24th on a chicken call, but I gotta learn from that.
There's a lot of people in there too.
It was a lot of people, and there was some heavy hitters, but and I want to get up there and compete with them. But so that's why I want to take that 24th call, and I want to learn from it. I want to. All right, what did I do wrong? Because obviously it was not the judges that day. Because there was a lot of people to pick from. So, but I try to look at it as not a defeat, but a learning experience.
Well, you learned one thing this Saturday, Jason. How to win.
I can cook ribs in 90 minutes,
and you win $1,000.
Yeah, and
pretty
I don't know
cool.
where you came up with those guidelines, but if you would have asked me 3 months ago, hey, let's cook. We got one afternoon. 5:00 on an afternoon. You say, hey, let's cook some ribs. I'm like, you lost your mind. We can't cook ribs this afternoon. But now, if you ask me to cook ribs right now, I say, if we got an hour and a half, consider it done. We can do it.
I think, look, you and I did this months ago. Not before this contest ever came up. We threw some ribs out there and cooked them in that time frame.
Right.
And they turned out unbelievable, fantastic.
And then we did it again, and they turned out terrible.
Right. Right.
So,
well,
they turned out terrible.
Well, because you weren't helping me. That's why.
When I first started practicing, my first
Can't do everything.
2 or 3 cooks, I practiced. I started the timer on my phone for 90 minutes when I cut the cryovac. That's what I started practicing at. I did not have my ribs sweated in. I did not have them unpackaged or nothing. When I first started practicing, it was from the time that knife touched that cryovac, my time started.
Well, I threw y'all a bone.
I appreciate that.
I threw you a bone because I wanted everybody to have a chance.
And everybody now knows, you know what? I can cook a quick rib, a good rib, just like this. So I think, a lot came out of this for everybody.
Sure.
Yeah. Now let's pretend. Let's do this contest again next Saturday. Okay. Let's just pretend. How many people, and invite the same 14, 15 teams. How many people you don't think that position is going to change?
Sure it is.
You know what I'm saying?
It is.
You're going to see confidence levels differ. You're going to see flavor profiles differ.
You might see a little more secret.
Yeah.
Might see what?
You might see a little more secretiveness and stuff. I think, hey, honestly.
Put that away.
I love it, man. I love it. Oh, that's such a great blend.
The Heath Ross barbecue rib wrap is wonderful.
Yeah, and I've got this right here, boys. These guys that competed in this, don't sleep on this stuff. Y'all always say you can't leave that store without buying some of it. Don't sleep on this stuff right here. It's good stuff.
Hey, I made that statement. I don't know how long ago. but maybe a year or so ago, and I'll tell you that's why Steve put it up, because
Yep.
it's a fact.
In
Yep.
2017, that grilling addiction with Butcher Barbecue Honey Rub won David Bosca
Yep.
the Jack Daniels Invitational.
It's good stuff. You know, that's why.
the premier-
And
premier
not only, I
contest
mean,
in the world.
I'm a brand ambassador, but I mean, it's like Frank's Red Hot. I put that on everything. You know, it's dang good.
I like Frank's Red Hot too.
Put it on my chicken wings.
Chicken wings, man, but I don't know. I like it in a little bit of everything
Put it on
too.
my chicken wing. Well, Jason, thank you so much.
Yeah. So,
Congratulations.
hey, I got a
You did
question
great.
for y'all. As the, I know y'all kind of expressed it, but as the like event coordinators, organizers, what's y'all's opinion of it? Would you do it again?
A rib contest?
Any of the above?
Oh yeah. We'll do some other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of we did chili in February. We did ribs in March. I'm thinking. I was just thinking today when I was mowing the grass, July coming up, maybe a chicken wing contest.
I did get hit up, Steve.
Wings are fun.
By a few of the guys.
You got to do something fast. I don't want to do brisket or pork butt, something that takes forever. You know, I don't want everybody. You know, that's to me that's no fun. You want something that's quick and fast.
Yeah.
You know, somebody said chicken thighs.
Yeah, I heard. That's what I was going to say. That's I heard a couple of people talking about doing some chicken thighs.
So I even
look at him lighting up down there.
I even heard pork tenderloins.
That's an idea.
I did a pork loin contest one time at the World Food Championships. Heath Jordan says the learning is huge. From my catering viewpoint now, hot and fast saves me hours. Yes, it does.
That is true.
Yes, it does. My pork loin was terrible. I didn't know anything about pork loin when I cooked it, but I do now.
Hey,
so I learned.
What about pork steaks?
That's a thought.
I just throw that out there because I like
there's lots of things we can do.
Right.
Yeah, or a steak cook-off. You know, just a steak. Period. Beef steak. You know, because there's a lot of these KCBS stuff that have the ancillaries. You know, they'll have a Friday night steak cook.
You know, Steve did have that set up at one time, and a lot of things happened. Different things came up, and ended up not having it. But that was going to be some time ago, right, Steve? A steak on
charcoal? I had bought 10 grills. I was going to have 10 contestants.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah,
for the same, and we're going to have the same charcoal, the same grills. Yeah, I was going to give out the meat, but you know, family stuff comes up, and you just can't do it. You know, chicken wings are so popular. You know, everybody does good wings, and you know, we might do that. We might incorporate that into like a wing festival. You know, I've done a few wing festivals in my life. You know, the funniest thing, real quick, the funniest steak contest I ever put together. We did an ancillary steak contest at a barbecue contest I put together at Cambridge Square, Jason and Pete. And there's this, I advertised it. I had 10 cooks. I had 9 spaces filled. This fella from Signal Mountain, I can't recall his name, but he's an older fella. He called me and he goes, "Can I get in your contest?" And I said, "Well, sure." He goes, "I've never cooked one, but I've always wanted to cook a steak contest." And I said, "You know, pay your $50. Come on down." Well, he comes on down and he's got his little, and now this was Dowley. I think Brandon Ellis was there. And anybody that was a great chef in Chattanooga was there. And this guy comes in, he sets up, and we started it at 11 o'clock. You had 11 until 12 to cook your steak. 11 o'clock goes, I go, just like we did for the rib contest. 11:40 rolls around, and the guy comes to me and says, "I can't get my grill started." 11:40. Did you not? I said, "Oh my God, it's 20 minutes." So I ran over there and I opened up his Venturis all the way, got a match, lit them. I said, "Leave them open." I said, "Put the door down and let them heat up for 5 minutes."
Time to party.
and good luck. And so
Yeah.
we had, I tell you, who judged that contest. It was Mike McLeod, the owner of World Food Championships. He had his staff come down and they judged that contest for us. This was a big time deal because the winner got a golden ticket to the World Food Championships.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yep.
And guess who won that contest?
The 20-minute
That
guy.
guy from Signal Mountain. Kid you not.
Wow.
Ray Ivy was second from Ace Hardware, and Roger Burrows from Ruth Chris was third. And that
Gotcha.
guy, I mean, a nobody in the steak world.
Right.
He won that contest. It
Yep.
was incredible.
Right.
Could you imagine being one of the other people in there and you're all cooking thinking this idiot's never going to get there? And guess what? We all
Ta-da.
been cooking all this and he's just
Yep.
blows you out.
Well,
So-
and that's the way it goes in competitions because listen, there was guys there Saturday that can outcook me on ribs, and I'm not prideful enough. I can say that. You know, there was better rib cooks there than me, but you know, you never know. You know, some days you hit it, and some days you don't. So give it a shot. You know.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, and I say that story is because exactly what you're saying, Jason. You never know.
That's right.
You never know. The judges don't know what you're cooking on.
Yep.
They don't know how you cooked it. They don't know how long you wrapped it. Only thing they're looking for is taste, execution, appearance, and taste.
Yep.
And the eat method. And you that day at that time you're
That's
the
it.
winner.
Yep.
And, next time you may be last.
That's
or
correct.
You may be first again.
That's correct. It's very easy to get humbled. Yeah,
It's a great sport, and if you especially when you're old like us, if you can't hit a baseball anymore, if you can't hit a softball anymore,
we can cook.
We can cook.
That's right. Yeah, and for everybody watching too, and I'm sure they will. You know, they need please go out and support these sponsors that helped you put this on. You know, financially or however they helped. You know, because that was a big payday. You know, and these even to put these on as an event organizer as yourself. I mean, this stuff's not cheap. You know, so y'all go out and support the sponsors.
A $2,100 prize package in a small neighborhood contest, which is basically what this was, is incredible.
Huge.
And that can only be done by Iron Forge Bill, Hay Grill Hay, Butcher Barbecue, and the Good Charcoal Company.
Yeah,
that's the only reason we got that much money.
Yep.
Because they put their money where their mouths were, and they said we want to be part of this.
Yeah, because the contest that we competed in Athens, there was 47 teams, and it was the same payout for GC for Grand Champion with 47 teams. So that was huge for our area for sure.
So this was a big contest for us, and we'll do it again. Jason, thank you.
Thank you, fellas.
Always good to see you. Always good to have you on the show, and we appreciate you very much.
Thank y'all.
You betcha. Congratulations again.
Congrats.
Jason Pendley, Rock Spring, Georgia, your 2025 rib champion from the Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply Company here in Ooltewah, Tennessee, the winner of $1,000, a trophy, a pendant, and that championship ring. You know that ring, Pete, the ring. That everybody loved the ring.
Oh, I mean, get it because
somebody
won one before and everybody wanted it.
Everybody wants that ring.
But you know, I'm glad to see. I would have been glad to see any of the guys win it, but glad to see Jason win it. You know, he's deserving of it. He's a good guy, and I meant what I said. He's meticulous about everything, and I knew, you know, you and I talked, he'd get there. So congratulations again to him and everybody that was in there. Like you said, from first place to points to the last was not a big difference.
And if you didn't finish in the top 5, don't be discouraged. You never know. Next time you could be the winner. It's that easy. Like I said, it was just about 10 points that separated first from the last place, and that's over 14 teams. That's not a lot. So everybody turned in good food, and we're so glad everybody participated. We appreciate Iron Forge Beer Brewery. We appreciate David Bosky at Butcher Barbecue. We appreciate Todd and Susie Bullock at Hay Grill Hay. we really appreciate all the guys from Chatted Up Sports, and we appreciate all the good folks at the Good Charcoal Company that provided the charcoal for everybody. We appreciate everybody that pitched in. Sean, Charles, Betsy, Perry. Don't want to leave anybody out. Tanya, that manned the cash register the whole entire day. It takes a lot of people to do this, folks. So just always remember that it takes a lot of people to put on even a little neighborhood contest like this. And we'll do it again soon.
And Steve, a big thanks to you. And everybody I know has said it, but maybe not, I didn't hear it from some, but I know they've all said it. Thank you for setting these up. Thank you from me for letting me be a part of your show and helping out when you're doing things like that, because I enjoy it a lot and I appreciate it.
That's
and
good.
You do put a lot of work into it.
You're a good friend, Pete, and I appreciate you very much. You'll always be part of the Alzen's Barbecue family. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Pete. We'll see you next. You'll be gone. You're going to.
Yeah, I'm fixing to be gone for 3 weeks. I'm headed to the Netherlands, leaving on Thursday morning.
He's going to the land of tulips.
Land of tulips.
He'll be tiptoeing through the tulips.
The Heineken beer in my hand.
Jason Pendley.
Take your pick. Whatever we're feeling today, we got it. From tacos.
Which one's he going to use?
That's right. That's right. We just we spun the knife, and whichever one it pointed at, that's what went on it today.
What's on the rib? Inquiring mind.
People on the product. And I think for us, we've had some really good retailers. We were just talking about one today that came on with us, Alzen's Barbecue. He's awesome. But he sold a lot of product, but he's passionate about it. Yep. He talks about it. He educates his people, his staff, everybody on it.
Now at Owl's Nest Barbecue Supply, the pit barrel is back. The original size, the PBX, and the new Badger barrel. The Badger barrel does it all and more with a great price and great quality. Can you do this on your grill? I didn't think so. You can on the Badger. It's hot with an attitude to match.